It's very awkward because the camera is on the other side today, so I can't see who's with me and who's not with me. But I was pondering on this topic for days, actually, to think ukuthi, now that we are locked down and we've been pushing on making sure they're homeschooled in terms of their education, the caps, but this is a time that we could actually be using as families, who are they, their history, their background, where do they come from. And when I check the research, research says children who have a strong family narrative enjoy better emotional health. So they also found that the more children knew, the stronger their sense of control over their lives, the higher their self-esteem, and the more successfully they believed their families functioned. So it says, when children hear stories about their families, it gives them a sense of belonging. It gives them a sense of knowing who am I, and what am I about. So I was hoping today we have a dialogue with you guys, not necessarily I just talk. So I don't have like a talk for you guys, but I want us to have a dialogue. So if you have something that you want to talk about, let's just comment, put it on comment, and then let's see where can we take this topic. But as you grow older, when you're younger, you think, all I need to know is my name, isibongo sami, and basically maybe just my family, my mom and dad. But as you grow older, things start happening. You need to identify, and self-identification starts from knowing nisuka kuphi, where do I come from, where am I going, because that is very important, especially if you start developing things that you didn't know you as the you start being, oh, you like this, ufunze umkhulu wakho, and you think umkhulu wami who, or you start having dreams and you're seeing this man with a white beard and you've never seen a photo of your grandfather, and then you start asking yourself who's this man, and you start worrying and you don't know if it's a ghost, if it's your people coming to visit you, or what is the story. And really, guys, I find it's really important that when I looked at this topic and I found that there are two things that you can leave, that you should actually leave for your children. One is their roots, and to give them wings to fly. So we need to give you guys roots as you are the trees and the branches, and to say, where do I come from? And how we do that is by me telling you a story about myself, because I'm your immediate person, so I'm your mother. So I start introducing myself. So if somebody asked you, ubani uthole inhlanhla, then you know. So let me just introduce myself. So igama lami nguthole inhlanhla, Dlamini-Ngcoya, or Dlamini, or Sibakhulu, or malandela umfolo zomnyama ekhetha abaweli, or Ngcoya, la ngishade khona, obani.
Ofa konyawo sihla ndiyende iqelekazi Thuphane laba bahlamba ngobende benyamazana abanye behlamba ngobenkomo laba qhuma ingodudelika Thoboza Mhlanga ngivela indlela.
Yeah. So Dlamini oba
usibakhulu omalandela omzizi.
Okay. So it's good that you said that, because if you don't know, you'll say, like you say, so people will correct you and say, Osibakhulu omalandela omzizi, those are three different types of Dlamini. So then that's a conversation we need to have later with my daughters, who say, okay, so omzizi Dlamini, but of another clan, of another house. But that's not very critical. The fact of the matter is, at least you know who told Dlamini bangobani, So do you know Isakazelo Zagin? Some. Yes. Do you want to say them now or later? Later. Okay. But it's important ukuthi uzazi ukuthi ngubani, wazi isithakazelo zakini. But why do you think it's important ukwazi ukuthi ngubani?
I think it's very crucial ukuthi uwazi ukuthi umlando uthi usuka kephi nisuka kephi ezindeni wakho, your ancestors nani ukuthi istories zakhona what then they fought nakho konke lokho, because if we forget about the heritage to our past nani as we are moving phambili with the generation, we start forgetting izinto engemuva, and it's almost like we are dishonoring our ancestors yonke into abayenza for us to be at this very moment kokubakhola.
Yeah. Okay. So it's very important what you're saying, Philontle. It feels like it's gonna feel like you're dishonoring our ancestors, and some people are going to say, but our ancestors are madlozi and stuff. Why do we even need to honor them? But our ancestors is. Do you know what we mean by ancestors?
Yes.
What is our ancestors?
Part of our family that passed away.
Maybe talk louder so people can hear you.
Part of our family that passed away.
Yes, so it's part of our family that passed away, which means those are us. You can't know or you can't ignore abantu bagini that lived before you, because then that is who you are. That's your roots. So it's not we're saying now by knowing your grandfather, because then it's me, it's your father. So there's a maternal side as in a paternal side, and the maternal side is your mother's side of the family, and the paternal side is your father's side of the family. So you need to know everybody from. So I was born with umama no baba. Umama no baba have their own mama and baba, and they have their own mama and baba, and that is what we call a family tree, because the tree will start from here and it just keeps growing, and it has all these branches, and the branches keep going to the maternal and the paternal, the maternal and the paternal, and you need to know that. So you're not just going to know abantu baka Dlamini-Ngcoya, which is my mother's, which is your mother's side, which is me. You also want to know abantu baka Ngcoya, which is your father's side. But then it gets bigger when you have to know my mother's family, which is Haile, and then Bungani, yes. And then you have to know what umama yena wayezalo kamakubani. At the same time, you need to know. So kanjalo, it just expands all the time, and we need to know that. Before they used to say it was important because Mazo shedding tomb. Well, maybe you're gonna pass. But Mazo shedding tomb, you need to ask him tomb what's the other band. Is it sure what's the band? Otherwise, you're gonna end up marrying into your cousins and stuff. Do you have anyone that wants to comment? That's commenting there or that's with us? Okay, there's no one there. Yeah, there are people watching, but they don't have anything to say yet. Tando, what do you think? Why do you think kubalulekile ukwazi abantu imvelaphi yakho? Or imvelaphi nje?
What's imvelaphi?
Your past, your family history. Or abantu bakini abadala.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi ukubazi kuyavulela empilweni nokuthi uyazi ukuthi izinto ozenzayo zirepresent abantu abaqini nakho konke lokho.
Yeah. So mawuhamba uyaziqhenya ngobuwena, because you know ukuthi I am a representative of a whole clan, of the whole. I'm working with an army. So mawuhamba, you know ukuthi okay, now you encounter something like a problem. Who do you think of? You think, okay, if my granny was here, what would she do?
She would pray. She would take care of us.
She will pray. So then you think, maybe that will help me. And then you encounter something else and you think, Umkhulu would have done this. So those things, they give you resilience as well, because it makes you think, if they could go through such difficulties. Because if I tell you in history as a Kaya, and I tell you my grandfather used to work let's say in mining, and it was hard, and people were how he was treated, or anything like that, and how did he get over that? And so it gives you resilience. If Umkhulu no Gogo could stay in a mud house and survive, and raise or who were teachers or who were whatever, it means I can do it. It means if I'm encountering problems now, it's just the problems zamanje, but zizodlula. You understand? So it gives you resilience. That's why they're saying it gives you children that knows their family narrative is good for their emotional health. That is very important because we still don't have any comments because I don't want us to be just about us. If there's anyone who wants, I know possibly people maybe if they're not able to get in, but I know some of my friends were talking about the issue of because you will encounter, it is possible to encounter is umkhulu wakho you need something, you think umkhulu wami, who the hell is umkhulu wami? Or somebody or you were told in your family you had a family of Zangoma, for instance, and all you knew was me, who was Mfundisi, and your father who was also just a learned, somebody also a Christian or whatever. And now if you have to dig back to your history and try and find the Sangom, it's happy if you don't know, So, and also it gives you a sense of pride. I remember when I went to visit my grandmother, which is now Okoko, your great grandmother, and she told me, and she was so proud to say, it's not such a rich attire. We were rich. We had Yonkin-Fuyo, we had and what I liked about the narrative that she was telling, and she was saying, wonke umuntu endaweni wayezekhaya azodla, or wonke umuntu wayezekhaya azonana, and ubaba would give them some of the meat, ubaba would give them he had a butchery, and ubaba had ubisi, wakusengwa, and all of that. That makes me think, oh, so that's why mina ngithanda ukupha abantu. Oh, I come from a family of abantu ababephila kahle. And being rich doesn't mean babe drive a jeep, which is what we look at now. Babe or what do you call this, uncapped Wi-Fi and living and whatnot. But they were rich in his spiritually rich as well. They were rich emotionally. They were rich in a sense that they knew what's umuntu ngabantu. And that is something you are not going to be able to learn manje if you're just looking at the way it's pilanga manje. Is there somebody?
Okay, so we have two comments. It's from Uzola Angel Heavenly. She said, "Guti, I like this." And then we have one from Usile Ndlovu Butelezi who says, Slee, sorry, who says, "Lineage has been a challenge for my spirituality journey."
Yeah. So hi Zola, thanks for joining us. Slee, that's what I was just saying now. The spirituality journey is the key, and I think you guys you were lucky to experience me going through my journey. So, and especially now, all of you actually, you were lucky to see me go through the journey. Going through the journey is what I was doing with my identity as a gifted, spiritually gifted person. So what I mean is, if you, Usli, what she's referring to is, let's say now exactly what I was saying, you're trying to find yourself. Who am I? Why am I, like I was saying about the dreams, there are people who want to show themselves to you, to say, we are here, we want you to acknowledge us. Those are your great grandfathers. Those are your guides that walk with you all the time. As well. If you don't know then you are a lost soul. Your spirituality journey is sort of, you get pulled left, right, and center, because the people that are living in the flesh currently now, they're saying, no, Tina, we don't believe in that. No, Tina, we don't do that. But if you have your history, you will know some people were proud of what they're asking for now. So once we move away from this westernized way of looking at who we are in not wanting to tap into the past, then we will grow up and we will be a better nation. That will be a better nation. So thanks, Lee, for that, because I was saying with most of the people that I talk to now, they have a problem with that, to say, but where do I even start? You know, it's like, you know, when you maybe you was, I remember when I was on Kulwen, was about he literally had just maybe the 3 that you have, because Nai, he got to a point where he was just tired to, or I don't know why he was not so interested, but he had his own reason. So now it's for me to now go back and find this Tarazelo Sasakai. In that, it makes me, when I understand what is Sugagopi, when I trace back the history of Dlamini, then somewhere I'm able to say, voila, that's why my father decided to cut ties with the family. You understand? So, and then what happens then? You then need to start fixing that. You heal yourself by healing those that have passed, those that have left us. So you can't just heal when at the now. So the most important things I want to say, but what do we even need to tell our kids, because we're not all in our spiritual journey. But it's important to tell your kids, ask them questions. Do you know where I grew up? Mina nje, bani wazi ukuthi mina ngakhulela bonke, niyazi ngakhulela eShowe. So do you know exactly where eShowe? You know, but you don't know igama lendawo, is what you're saying. Yes. So the importance of that would one day, if should it be, you want to find this peace and you want to go Emmanuel, you want to go where your mom came from, it's important to know where that was. Even if I don't take you there physically, but if we have a storytelling and say, I grew up in the woods, is there somebody there? Then you know what they want. So you need to ask your kids where did the parents grow up. You can or tell them a story about that. Or do you know how your parents met? That story is interesting because it also tells you life, it gives you all different variations of life and the diversity of how your father and I were different, or where he grew up, where, you know, all of those things. That story is important for you to know who you are. Okay, I thought you had some. And then, do you know the source of your name? So that's why I was asking you the other day, igama lakho nobani? Nothando. And you liqhamuka kuphi? Kugogo. Ngoba? That is very important. Because no matter ushawa izinto ezingakanani, that's why I said your self-esteem and your self-confidence is linked to your family narrative. Because umuntu uzothi unothando and you always think, but no, igama lami nginothando, ugogo first time engibona wabona uthando, and this is, look at me, nginothando. What's your name? Bongisbusis. So where did that come from?
Came from my mom and dad, and Konduwoti, Bongisbusis from Kondu.
Thank God for the blessing. So every time you are faced with anything, or every time you introduce yourself, and that's another thing, we tend to like to shorten our names, Sisimunta, you know, Milo. But when you say your name, you're giving somebody a narrative, you're giving somebody a story about yourself. That you already know a lot about me. You know, my parents said, thank God, or we got a lot. You understand? So we also thank God for you. So every time you just know, I am a blessing. And my parents thank God for when I came on earth. So I don't care who says what. And what's your name?
Mpilonhle. Mpilonhle unamaminingi amabili. Yokuqala ukuthi ube nempilo enhle, so you live a good life. And then esibili, impilo as in health yakho. So like you have to have good health. And ngaqanjwa abazali bami lelo gama.
Yeah. So do you have anybody there? Okay. So it's important that umpilo enhle mangabe hamba ngisho ngabe impilo yakhe iyaqala iba nama struggles ngisho ngabe impilo yakhe iyaqala whatever happens umpilo enhle no because when I was born as ngifika nje it was like there's a comment.
Yeah.
Who is it from?
Uzola.
Ubani?
Ubeni Mthusi.
Oh yes, Ubeni yes uthini uMantusi yes.
Yes, uthi ngiyayithanda lena.
Yes sis, and ngiyazi ukuthi uSisinonhlanhla Ntusi ngiyazi ukuthi uyithanda impela le ngxoxo ngoba sike sikhulume nawe ukubaluleka kwayo because kakhulukazi mina nawe we also it's the same thing of the journeys that we've been through, and when you're sitting with your kids lapha ekhaya and I hope uhleli nabo abantu abami ukuthi bazazi ukuthi mina ngize nowabantusi nje kodwa mangabe uthola inhlanhla ekhuluma ngami athi udadewethu kanjani because akasiwantusi, then you say because uMadlamini ngoba uMadlamini mina ngwakahadebe then ngoba ezalo mahadebe, so all of that it makes us so you know you're never alone, you know, because then you know there's uMamkhulu, there's aunt, there's this because of this ubuntu, because of this lineage, because of this how the branches get to connect from just the surnames, from just all these connect us and give you guys it gives you ukuthi nizazi ukuthi and you're not alone, you are never alone mangabe wazi ukuthi umabani, you understand it danger. So it also says ukuthi learning about family history is essential to understanding ourselves as basic humanity and diversity. Family history also helps to keep memories alive. So ngisho ngasekho if even when I'm dead, I mean even this day should be the day that you guys will be able to tell your grandchildren to say ugogo wenu or ukhokho wenu was a person that loved to do this, was a person that loved to a cultural to ukuvikela amasiko wethu, you know, and so they know ukuthi how all of a sudden wena why manje unje ekhanda why ufaka amacici obuhlalu no ngikhumbula ugogo wenu, you understand that, because it's important ukuthi as you walk, as you take a step, and that's why sihamba barefoot sometimes, because as you put your foot down you uhamba unyathela ngogogo ngabokhokho ngabomkhulu, and it's like you're absorbing ulwazi lwabo, you're absorbing umnotho wabo, you're absorbing ukhulu babo, you feel it kuwe, and that gives you pride to say wow. And it's almost as if uyabezwa ukuthi yabona manje ngihamba nobani ngisho ngasekho, you almost can imagine your mother with all these beads and you say ukuthi uma ngiyamuzwa ke manje ukhona. But how do you connect? And that's the thing, is it's connection, but how do you connect if you don't know what you're connecting to? You understand? So if we go to Jalishlahla and you just dig in that one and you to Jalishlahla, storms come, rain come, wind come, siyawehlahla asikhuli. But if you're planting a tree and you dig down and you plant a tree and the roots go zishona ngapha nangapha, loso sihlahla ngisho ngafika imoya njani ngeke sizistill. So that's what we're trying to do for you guys, and that's what I'm pleading with abantu emakhaya. That's what we do ukuthi sikhulumeni, and I really want to emphasize ukuthi what we talk about shouldn't be just izinto like pen, you know, because that's another thing, is we tend to want to say wonderful things or sibe namahlono kusho ukuthi sakhula kunzima kanjani. If kwakukhona ugogo wayithakatha, you guys need to know that ukuthi, you know, sakhula kabuhlungu ekhaya because kwakukhona ugogo owayithakatha. Yini ukuthakatha ma? It was witchcraft. She used to do this and it made my mother cry, or it made my whoever, you know, lezo zinto ezinjalo. Down the line yezo sekuthiwa khona izinhlambuluko, you know, or forgiveness that needs to happen between the ancestors. How do you do that when you don't even know who was fighting with who and why? But sometimes, even though you're not going to know in everything, but when somebody tells you, you know what, you are going through this because or there's some things that didn't go, because is whether you're going traditionally or Christian way or whatever, there is some point where you need to think of forgiveness and also think of, that's why esontweni yayithiwe yakhanyiswa amakhandlela for laba bantu bakithi abasebehambile sibacelele intethelelo and all of that. If somebody says there was a conflict in the family, back if you trace it back to Bomkhulu, you remember what Ma once told me. Then you have questions, relevant questions that you ask. So ngabe laba bantu okhuluma ngabo babe kanje, so ngabe laba bantu, because you remember ukuthi khona owantshontsha izinkomo zabani at some point. It might look irrelevant to you guys ngoba noma screw khona manje. We will also grow up thinking we were this model C kind of girls. And then when you grow older, you now become a parent who is raising a school child, and now you have to go back to your roots and teach your kids the right ways. So I do not want you guys, me and my friends, kids, and everyone included, to suffer what we suffered. Because we have suffered trying to find out who are we. You understand? So do you guys have any questions before I do? You have? No, cameraman, no. Is there any comments? No, not yet.
Wow. How can you learn about your family when you have no one to ask?
Okay, that's very important, because I think somebody actually did ask me that. Okay, not ask me, but got to a point to say, look, njengamanje, I need answers, but I have uphelile umndeni, and that happens. Whew, that is difficult. So you need to start by just remembering, if you can, ukuthi njoba ngingada, who was closer to me. You know, kono auntie, maybe owayezwana noma, or khona ugogo. That's why I was saying to Ubongo, it's important to know where mina umama was born, because you can go back to Mlalazi and say, if anybody knew of Utoli Dlamini, what can you tell me about? And somebody will be able to say, we knew her and she used to speak of this person. You understand? That's why I'm saying we should not, Tina, get to leave our kids because it is truly happening right now, where aksekho umuntu that you can ask about your family, aksekho umuntu that you can ask ukuthi so gogo ngiyatshela ukuthi khona abantu kwakukanje ekhaya, you know, aksekho umuntu. And people ask me ukuthi, but how is it possible that aksekho umuntu? It is because of this thing of we've gone too Western, in a sense that when who's your family, and you think your family is me and my 4 kids. But if my family was me and my umkhulu no baba omncane no baba omalume, you know, because there is always that, there's always omalume or auntie or bani, those people are your family. So you can ask those people. But if you go back to where we come from, your family was even your Omakelwan, because those people raised you as well. So you ask them those questions. But it's important, and I'm very grateful that you asked that, in a sense that we really need to have left something for our kids, if should we die or should we leave, because by a side and that is very relevant. Any questions from this side? No.
Yeah. How do you fix izinto where it happened so far back that no one knows what iqale kanjani? Like, you know how Tina Ngoy, I grew up in impilo yami yonke ngazi ukuthi ngumZulu until I found out ukuthi no oNgoya bangamaMpondo and amaMpondo are part of amaXhosa. And then now when you try and trace back, they all know ukuthi for as long as they've been alive, for as much information they know, they see amaZulu, and there is no ukuthi at some point umkhulu was, because if you go ask any all she knows is ukuthi
okay. All right, so I hear you. So it's the same thing as if I'm told ukuthi mina Tina singoDlamini bamaswati, but we were raised as amaZulu because it's Kulele show. But when I did Umemulo one, we were all in Swati regalia. So we were all representing where our great-grandfathers come from. So I started, not necessarily me, but is there anything there?
Yes.
Okay, let me just finish this. Okay, unless it should find it in.
No, it's from Mataviso Kamani. Important of alignment. Ukuzazi, it's a journey, but a rewarding one.
It's Ozazi, it's alignment, and it's also a journey that is rewarding. Yes, that's very important. Matabiso Sabang for that comment. Yes, so Umpilant is asking Guti, so if now Usawumdala you are told and how I became Umfazo Pondo was because if you say Guti then they'll say abantu you know. So before we always because it was something it's almost like tweet, but and I also didn't know there's actually a Mpondo clan. It's not and when I realized that, and I knew that you guys are going to be facing the same thing when somebody asks you and you're saying this is Ngcoya, and what doesn't know about what to know Ngcoya, but you know Ngcoya, then you say Mpondo, then people start laughing at you. But I became Umfazi Mpondo for you guys to know and be proud that Mpondo is actually who I am. It's actually something to be proud of. And so it's in our hands now, in your hands, together with me and your father, to now, if you feel I want to be who I was meant, or I want to be Mpondo as per se, instead of you cannot, and you must know that it's not about language that you speak. It's not about, so you can still but you can always research and find out so we can go there. So it's a journey that you take for your children that are coming after you. And that's why I took it upon myself to be Umfazi Mpondo, so that you guys can hold on to that and be proud of it, and we can take the baton and go forward with it. So as Nizinto, we can't fix what is so move. We cannot change your grandfather and tell him we want you to be Mpondo and do all the rituals that the Mpondo people do. But you can start now and claim it by going back, by going to Ngcoya and finding out, and then you can go forward. So you don't really need to go there, but you can start here, find out from that, and go forward. I don't know if I'm answering the question. Is there anything that...
Yeah, it's from Benitosi. Let's see, yes, good question.
It's a good question, because I think it's the same thing of saying okay, man just saying another thing what you've just said abantu abaningi, and I think as you will know, as I keep telling you the history as a Kai, you will know what there are families, even in our family, where if you can put your feet up and whatever, relax. So there are families that sakula tina kuyisibongo sithi mhlambe kwakhona ekhaya kuwe kasibisi, I'm just saying, then go down the line sethi Dlamini. How? And also then how do I change that whole thing ukuthi ngangithi noma ngisithakazela ngizibize nganisithakazela ngithi uDlamini sibakhulu umfolozo omnyama ekhetha or whatever, and now I'm told ukuthi ngawakasithole, and I have to learn all of those things, and that is it's the problem that is faced by most people, and that also stems from the secrecy that our elders had and still have. There's a lot of secrets that people kept, which when they come out, now you are left with now, what do I do with this? You understand? So that's why it's important to just come out and say, look, you guys, we grew up thinking this, and now this is what it is. So how do we fix it? As we find out how it happened, and then we move forward. It's important to find the source. Okay, so no, umama wakho wayengashadanga, then wase wabizwa ngalo. then nami ngangashada ngaphinde ngakubiza ngalokho. Then you understand that thing, and that's a recurring dismal problem that is happening that we need to start changing. That's why it's important for our kids to know their surnames as well, so that we don't keep going and repeating izinto ezingekho right zokubona. So Sisiwe, anything that you want to ask? Yes.
The comment from Matsabiso Kamani Puti, you actually made me thought of something, how people used to be ashamed if they are Shangans because of the public stigma between, but when people started to embrace their heritage and seeing lots of successful Shangan people embrace it, people start to respect Shangans, and also they start to be proud of who they are.
Yes. Oh, God, someone make the last Shangan. Did you even know there was an ethnic group of Shangan? Did you know? Was someone to make Shangan? Yeah, with the Mashangan, what's one, the two Lily Shangan, you understand? And it's going to start now, where we're starting to embrace our heritage, we're starting to embrace who we are, and we're not going to change why abantu babetha amashangane anjalo, but we are going to change now by really wearing our shangan, whatever it is, if we kune traditional way yakhona that we wear, and we proudly say it's mina ngikusibanibane ngishangan. And so somebody asks you, so what is then you're able to say it's as an ethnic group, you understand? So I am proudly Swati, who is Zulu, who is Umfazi Mpondo. You understand that? So it helps. Because you guys will find yourself starting to say Maktuo and then you start saying no, it's not my cause.
No, like there's the second issue about like we almost feel like we are ashamed of ourselves because like it's more because like local what's born, like I have experienced it now. Me starting say primary when I went to ask what I was, and then about born, and then they're like born, like they kind of know because they're both danger. But then if you actually were to go and look through history and what's born though, who had Ingan Unjanya, and then Unjanya had twins, Umpondo and Umpondo Miss. And Umpondo, he was the one who took on the throne to the air. So like if you know that heritage, you would not be ashamed. Was what okay, me now Umpondo, where I come from, he took his class of course, but then because we don't teach about lezo, we just teach them what's okay, you are this, love. And then they don't know what's bango bani, they don't know what pumapi. So when people tell them what's okay, you're this, you should be ashamed, what's real local, then they will be ashamed because when you just gave them a portion of what they should know. And to give them a portion of what they should actually know is kind of like denying themselves of who they truly are.
Whose child was that? I am so proud of you. Honestly, I am proud of you because really we are of the royal family. We are. If once you know that, you know you are royalty. All Dlamini, they are royalty. All Ngoya, they are royalty. And once you know that, and also abantu as ukuthi wonke umuntu nokhosi bakubo, because khona abantu abangabakhosi bakaMthembu endaweni yakaMthembu, khona abantu abangamakhosi akaThwala endaweni yakaThwala. So once we treat ourselves as royalty, like I'm a bearded queen because I'm really a queen, something like that. So once we know that, we embrace that, we walk with pride. I'm really proud of the men that you've become in terms of wanting to know who you are. It tells me what I preach to the world is actually rubbing off to you guys, and it's important. You don't walk this way, tell people that, and your kids are doing that. And honestly, you've done most of it on your own. which is what I'm saying. It's that you just tell somebody something and you walk the walk as a parent. If you walk proud, if you walk with this confidence, ukuthi my kids should know ukuthi mina ngithola inhlanhla, nginesiphiwo sobungoma. If I walk out there walking barefoot, they're gonna be shy and they're gonna be ukuthi kwenzakalani, you know. I remember when I started to go twice and then have school and I had to sometimes ngifake izinto zentwasa and be like, Mom, but it's who I am, you know. And also if we have to do rituals, you know what if we make this you know, like how much she's in bed, and you're proud of that. You know what one day we ebon or glass house of yours. And then I feel cool or and it's like you don't know what somewhere in, you know. But that's a topic for another day. But that is important. What makes us who we are. You understand? Do you agree? Do you want to add something?
Know who you are, know your dreams, your goals, and all. And you should learn from your mistakes, learn from them. And now I'm always that don't want to be so good. The song was near Kolokolo. Who in the end is cut on to always has to learn. Because also season beginning. More pattern that the Coco Angelosi. I'm a this as a preparing access. Just pick up some codes who are full who are communities with. Because one day we are doing and we are nice season.
So that's what you got from Inkuliso Wako, you know. So wonke umuntu something with Inkuliso Wako one, mina ngakhuliso ubani, mina ngakhuliso, and it doesn't mean ukuthi when you deviate, so like your granny is my mother. And my mother umfundisi umshumayeli wasithi sonke afundiswa ngakhula ngesontweni and all of that. When I grow older, I know what there's going to church, and then I also know there's ukshisimpepho. So now senzani sesikhandikaya lakabani lakangoy for you guys. So when it's your household, you know to have these two things, and you know whether if you want to separate it and start following the one, you know why. And what happened at Kaya Mawenza. You know if you want to start following the one, you know why, you know what happened at Kama. If you join the two, you also know, you understand? So you're being exposed as it again. Because we tend to start separating families to say, and everywhere you go, you learn something. Is there anything you want to add, my baby?
How do you get in touch with your ancestors?
How did I get in touch with my ancestors? How does a person get in touch with their ancestors?
Yes.
How do you get in touch with your ancestors? How you start from within. So how you align, just like Mama Tabis was saying, is you start knowing what's Minawong is after my grandfather, who is Ubongi-Nkosi, who passed away, who loved me. So you start wanting to know more about Mkhulu Ubongi-Nkosi. And how you get in touch with them is when you pray, or when you pastor, when you sit on your own, or when you ask your parents about these people. Then the more knowledge you know about them, the more you almost as if when you're sitting alone and you're thinking, you can almost see them, or you can almost even hear their voices, because you connect what I'm telling you, which is why it's important that I'm here. So you connect what I'm telling you, and you connect it to what you think you've heard. You know, I think here's my if for my kuluma about my great grandfather or or whatever, my heart will feel happy. Or if you're kuluma you will feel it. You're still young, but you will know how it makes you feel when someone is talking about your ancestors. So if somebody talks about your ancestors and you feel those are my people, you're aligning. So you need to, all in all, you need to honor them and just embrace them and know that they are part of you. They are you. They are who you are. Sometimes you think things because they are whispering things in your ear. Sometimes you say things which they are sending you to say those things. Sometimes when you act a certain way, so the walk you walk, sometimes you are that is you connecting with your ancestors. So when somebody says you take that. When somebody says, I'm just saying cool, I wait this you know, so that's you connected with them. So you know who's white to you. You know who's coming over. You know do you have any yes?
Okay, we have 2 comments. When Dlamini-Ngcoya, yabona nje le yesibongo sagogo isiqhubekayo iyasilimaza kakhulu nje manje iyona lengizama ukuyilungisa.
What's the other one?
The other one is from Usli. It says it's the parents' role to instill pride in imvelaphi yabo. My paternal grandfather came from Tanzania. For all his life in South Africa, he was called Igweregwere. I applaud my parents for always ensuring that we never felt inferior. We always walked tall.
You see, so Mantusi, what she's referring to in the if I lento ukuthi kuthiwa mawuthola ingane ongashadile kufanele uyibize ngesibongo sakini. So if your grandmother got me engashadile, I would have been wakahadebe. Then I get you guys ngingashadile, you guys would have been wakahadebe. Then you get a child ongashadile and you will still say yongane yakahadebe. But technically, the hadebe stopped ages ago. So that's why I'm saying that needs to be corrected. It needs to be stopped, and the fathers need to step out and be there and hlawula if they need to, because this is causing problems. And some people have to resolve into yama 6 generations back. Mawucabanga ukuthi kulawo ma 6 generations kunezibongo no Dlamini-Ngcoya, obani, omthembu, bonke babizwa uHadebe, which is not right. So that needs to be changed. Because then when your life goes wrong, then they say, mfana bani sibongo sakho nesami noHadebe kuthiwa ayibuyele ekhaya ubuza ukuthi wakabani sibongo. You understand? So then you change your surname kuthiwa no gogo wakho ayibiza isibongo is wrong. No gogo wakho. So kahle you guys should be holding us accountable to resolve our issues while disappear. Because if we don't, lezo sikweletu lezo phindo zizosalela nina kuthiwe go back usabathi uthi uyalungisa uma ushintsha uma isibongo kuthiwe no gogo uthi uyashintsha ugogo uyabo. So you need to hold us accountable to say we want to know who you are, we want to really know who our fathers are, we want to know our surnames and all of that. Is somebody else there? So Usli, it's very nice and I show you they were proud of Nkulwa, but they wouldn't have been if abazali babo decided to not say Uthi Nkulwa was from Tanzania. You understand? So it's us as parents. So that's why I'm saying, Vala, what time is it now?
It's almost 7.
Almost 7. So Vala, mind you, all in all, what I'm saying, now that we are left in my sister Kaya, we have time. Let's maybe take a break and breathe and be honest and ask and tell our kids who we are. And like I said, in another post, somebody is going to say, how do I tell my kids who they are when I don't know who I am? So then this is the time that you need to start aligning, you need to start tracing who you are. And what you know, you start passing down. What you know, you start passing down. Let's also do a family tree. If possible now, since now my computer and you start having family trees so that there could be something written for the kids to know where we can find pictures, even put pictures, because those pictures are important, because sometimes these kids will have these visions of these people and won't even know what bangobani. So it's important if we can have those pictures on the tree so we know what ubani, waifana nobani. Even if I only have, like me, I only have my grandfather, but my grandfather would actually look like his grandfather or have a resemblance. So at least I'm giving my kids a lead to knowing who they are. And in closing, we cannot know, as a leaf, you fall ngama seasons as a sugar and nan, but you sort of bloom back if kukhona somebody watering the roots. So it's important to have your roots zibe deep, that uma ngabe ngafika any storms, the tree is not falling, the tree is always there, and it absorb, all the nutrients, all the life that we need to be giving to our kids. We need to give them that, because otherwise sizobe sesikhala ngabo la later on and we say ukuthi lo muntu nje akazazi ukuthi ngubani, but ithini ekumele sazi. Guys, we know how much we suffered. Don't bullshit anybody. We suffered in not knowing who we are. In terms of going back, we just know mhlambe it's bomkhulu bethu. But as we grew older, we started knowing the importance of it. We started knowing why we should be researching ukuthi ubani, why wayihambe ekhaya, why kumele abuyiswe manje, all of that. Let's do that. Let's not leave our kids to bangisho. Let's not leave our kids ukuthi basale belungisa izinkinga ababengehlangene nazo. Let's not leave our kids bengazazi ukuthi bangamampondo, bangamazulu, bangamaswati kwenzakalani. Let's just try and help them where we can. Our kids are being bullied at school because of the same thing of ethnicity, and we need to make them proud of who they are, and we need to make them acknowledge and embrace their ethnicity. And ukuthanda amasiko wakho doesn't make you umuntu ongasile. That's why manje kunama proudly bhinqas, because namabhinqa athi yazini, this is us. Qala umuntu wayethuka, umuntu mangabe ethuka wayethi libhinqa leli, and ukuba ibhinqa qala kwakusho umuntu ongafundile, umuntu ongenayo impahla zokugqoka, uhamba ngeenyawo, uyibhinqa nje. But now we are, sinamabhinqa are proud, afundile, anothando, amahle, anobuntu, and that is what we're going to be passing to our kids. Thank you. We meet again next time. Thanks, guys.
Hi.
Ngizoya emakhaya.